in the bottom left, playing for the Shopify Rebellion. He is the Korean Terror, and he's Byun. And in the bottom right corner, also playing for the Shopify Rebellion, Scarlett. We already see a bit of cheekiness coming out of her here. Well, the gas first. These two are obviously teammates, and they are forced to talk and play with each other quite a bit because they're participating in the World Team League, which is something that the Shopify Rebellion take very seriously. So these players, yeah, know quite a bit about each other, and apparently both of them have figured out that cheese is the way to go. Scarlett over here with the early pool in the gas, another extractor trick going down to make a bit more room for that supply. On the other side, Byun opening with the double barracks. There's only now a gas coming in, so not as all in as it could be, but in theory this should be very, very nice, very good start for Scarlett. Pumps out the queen, couple of links. Link speed starting up. And this should pretty much hard counter this 2 rigs here. Byun, obviously, he has no idea that there's no natural. Right now, he can only assume that everything's standard. Whereas Scarlett, she at least has this overload now, and she sees that there's no barracks in the main base of the Terran. So she must be feeling pretty good here now. And yeah, she's going to see the proxy Marines now getting her overlord to safety, and now with these links out already, there's going to be no problem whatsoever to prevent any bunkers from going up. Even just chasing out here, 2 Marines, 3 Marines now kiting as best as they can, but both of these SCVs going down, and we see back at home Scarlett just keeping up this aggression. Throwing down the Baneling Nest, she would just want to end this here. She knows Byun is not going to have any units at home anytime soon because the barracks are in the middle of the map. Sending these links around here. Link speed is about to finish, and Byun is about to enter a world of pain over here. This seems almost like an unplayable situation. He's lifting up the barracks node, getting his Marines home, but yeah, he has to pretty much gamble now. He's throwing down a bunker, but with these links being on the other side of the map already, Banelings could be morphed here anytime. Oh, maybe? Okay, he's just getting a catch on these Marines here. These were the only fighting units available for Byun, and now these Banelings are morphing. Plenty of Banelings, going to be enough to bust down this wall here at the front. Byun is recognizing that something like this could happen, so he's trying to reinforce that wall. But is it going to be enough? There's going to be one Hellion out, another eBay going down for the block. Oh, the barracks landing, but it's not walling off. The floodgates are open. The Hellion is about to get surrounded. 2 more Banelings available still, and they're about to connect with the SCVs. Or not yet. Okay, now they're going for it. The wall has been closed now, but tons of SCVs going down in the main base of Byun, and it's looking like Scarlett takes the swift 1-0 lead here. What a game to start us off. With the early gas again. And Byun is also sending out another early SCV. So Byun maybe not happy with how it worked out last time. Just says, we do it again. Scarlett very happy with how it turned out last time. Says, we do it again. And let's see how this one plays out. Like, once again, this is supposed to be a very hard build order counter for Scarlett here. Second bar is coming down. And doesn't look like he's taking a gas soon, so this will once again be Marines out of these barracks here. This time, Scarlett, no idea. Not even attempting to scout. Obviously, she's focused on her own cheese. So why would you scout for something that your build is supposed to counter? But this time around, a third barracks is going down. So this is very different from what we saw in the first game. in the sense that the third barracks makes this way more committed, almost all in, I want to call it. And maybe this has a better shot of working now, considering that Scarlett is banking on her link speed finishing up, and link speed is not going to be done for a while, and there's going to be a significantly higher number of Marines now compared to last game. And this time the links are moving out. Oh, now they should see it. And this overload very exposed, but the links are just passing through. I don't think Byun realized that this is happening. He has an almost complete wall, but he needs to fully wall this off. Okay, he does. Does recognize what's going on. Very weird scenario here now, where Byun is rallying his units back home to defend against this. The wall has been closed, and if there's no bad building RNG, this bunker should also finish, so... Byun has lifted up one of the barracks now, and this is an odd scenario, and he just wants to catch these links now in his natural. He's pulling all of his SCVs back, and these Marines, not looking for counter damage, yeah, just happy with defending this. Scarlett is still producing only links. This time around, okay, once again, there's a Baneling Nest. I didn't see that in the production tab because I was looking elsewhere. But this time around, Byun has a better setup for the defense. He's building more barracks, throwing them down, and he's reinforcing this wall once again. And this time, it should be more effective. He's going to lose both of these supply depots as soon as the Banelings crash into here. But there are only 4 Banelings, actually. You need 5 Banelings to one-shot the supply depots here. So maybe Scarlett, realizing this, not committing to it, throwing down a hatchery in her main base and going back to droning. Which I like this decision because this seems very unbreakable. Byun knows that he is very well defended against anything that could come his way. Also going the macro direction now, builds that command center on the high ground, which is a luxury that you have as a Terran. And I can't say that this is a game that you often see play out like this. Both players committing very heavily to an all-in the early game, negating each other, and then just transitioning into the macro game. Scarlett with that second hatchery now has the natural almost saturated, but as soon as this command center finishes up and Byun can establish his own natural, that should even out with mules. You can see the income here right now. Scarlett is quite a bit ahead, but like I said, as soon as this command center finishes, that will even out. Starport building tech lab on the barracks, which could very well be swapped over to that starport. So Byun making access to either a couple of Banshees, which is always good in these low economy scenarios, or a Raven, maybe clear some creep harass a bit, or you just go for the Viking, clear some Overlords, and use the tech lab for, I would assume, stim right away. He has the gas for it now, and there comes stim. Hellions out, creating a little bit more room for the Terran player here. Bit of map control. I like that Scarlett never really even tried to commit these Banelings here, so now she has them available for the defense. Queen count is quite okay, considering the start here for Scarlett. 4 queens in the front. That means only 1 queen is injecting for the time being. And all of these queens are very low on energy, so she's making use of the creep threat and the inject mechanic. And there's really no danger anytime soon. I guess a Halberd push could be threatening, where you would want to bank up some energy on those queens for the transfuses, but we see that this is not the case. Scarlett taking the precautions though, throwing down a Spore Crawler here in case something like that does happen. But Byun has stopped producing Hellions at the count of 5, so really just content with the map control that he is establishing here. And yeah, this game is normalizing. Oh, the Hellions trying to go for some creep clearing. One of them gets surrounded, but 4 of them get away. Byun is up to, how many barracks are these? 3 barracks of production, 2 of them have a reactor on them. Goes into the 3rd command center at just before the 7-minute mark. Considering the start that we've had, this is, I guess, a half-decent timing. Still moving out with those Marines now that Stim's finished. And this is, I mean, it has 2 medivacs with them, so there is a lot of micro potential. But this is really just designed to force Scarlett into make some more units. Making sure the drone count doesn't get out of control. And that's exactly what she's doing here. 28 more links on the way. No bailing speed available just yet, so this push can stick around for a little while here. Creep is being cleared, queens are in position, and he's stimming into the 3rd base. Not really focusing on anything yet. Overseer goes down. And yeah, Scarlett, we see here, very hesitant to engage because the banelings will never get close to this. We know how good Byun's micro is here. But yeah, he just bruises up the hatchery a little bit and stays on the edge of creep. Scarlett, she sees that well, Byun is not on creep for the time being, so she sends all her units over to counterattack, which does absolutely nothing because the wall is raised. And now these Marines down here can do a little more. Queen's still very low on energy, so not many transfuses available. Sniping down these queens here, very nicely done by Byun. Is now forced to lift up. One queen on very low HP lives to tell the tale. Byun does have his 3rd command center finishing now, and it's floating that one over. His upgrades are a bit lacking though. He's got +1, and is now getting +1 armor, but no armory inside anytime soon. Whereas Scarlett, if she wants to, could throw up those 2-2 upgrades right away, but she wants to go for a huge aggression here. 60 drones, only links and banelings on the production tab, but Byun is sniffing this out now. He knows what's coming, and these are really a ton of banelings here. Is Byun prepared to deal with this? He doesn't have any units sent out to his 3rd command center, so he could just theoretically lift that one up and defend in his natural. But Scarlett now, all out aggression, just waiting for these units, setting up a good spread here. This is almost going to be a full surround here, and we're just waiting for her to go. Byun has a very nice pre-spread, and there we go, 2 tanks. Focus firing on these banelings. These Marines are kiting back. Tanks are now getting taken out by these things. Scarlett stopping her onslaught for just a second, but she is committed here. She has to go, and there are more tanks set up on the high ground. She's sending some units down to the 3rd base. That one is getting wrecked, and she's breaking through into the natural, but this tank on the high ground is holding strong. I don't think Byun is going to die here anytime soon. This 3rd base, though, it's forced to lift. But was this worth it? 23 SCVs going down. And Scarlett has now recognized that this is all she can get done. Fires up the 2-2 upgrades. But Byun has survived. He is on 3 command centers. He has access to mules. And Scarlett, for the time being, she is stuck on Ling Baning. There's no further tech, no Mutalisk, no Hydras. Well, can't even mention Lurkers because these are even further away. So army composition-wise, this is going to favor Byun for a while. And he's getting these medivacs here into the main base. Flying them all the way around, so Scarlett just losing a little bit of mining time there. 3 drones, not the biggest of deals, but I mean, it's a deal. It's not the biggest of deals. She's only at 62 workers, so usually in this state of the game, as the Zerg player, you are on a way healthier drone count, where it doesn't hurt you that much losing 3 drones, but if you're only at 60, that's not insignificant. Byun trying for another move out here onto the map. Just wants to clear the creep here. These medivacs will be able to lift up these Marines if he wants to. Just standing his ground and fighting. Trading out very well here. That was only half of Scarlett's army that was engaged there, and that was a very, very nice trade here for Byun. Scarlett trying for the counter-attack, but tanks are in position. This is almost certainly not going to work out for her. We see her dropping in supply. The banelings are gone. She's getting into the third base once again, but only 3 SCVs going down. Byun is still not invested in any further upgrades. He still doesn't have the armory, I do believe. But yeah, he doesn't need it. Forgive me, he does have the armory, but only now investing into these upgrades. And in typical Byun fashion, he's firing up the armor upgrade before the attack upgrade. Yeah, but Byun now in a commanding lead. Scarlett is getting the infestation pitch, so she wants to go up to that hive. Still 2 medevacs here around, but they should be greeted by those queens and a bunch of lings. Not getting anything done. Scarlett is now up to a decent worker count, but this hive is quite far away. But it looks like Byun doesn't want to go for the all-out push here. He's just sending a couple of medevacs out here and there, trying to go for that harassment-based style. Macroing up in the background, 4th command center is on the way. But I would imagine that with his 2-2 upgrades finishing up, he should probably consolidate his forces and go for a more committed central push. Let's see what this drop can get done here. Completely unspotted by Scarlett. But looks like it's just going to clear some creep here, maybe? Scarlett is significantly down in supply here. Well, she just shut up because she fired up another round of production. But don't let this fool you. This is purely because of her army composition being Ling Bailing. This doesn't mean that much necessarily. But she needs to get into some of those power units here. And it looks like she's completely going past the stage of mutas or lurkers or something. She's immediately going for these hive units. Vipers on the way. Very important to deal with tanks. And the Ultralisk Cavern. But this means, with these 2-2 upgrades finishing up for Byun, Scarlett is going to be at her weakest points. None of her upgrades are finishing up, and there are no Ultras available just yet. So this move out, this push coming out of Byun is going to be absolutely brutal if he decides to go for it. He still has a lot of units at home. All of his tanks are here, so maybe he just wants to take it later. Maybe he's not sure exactly what he has to expect on the other side of the map here. Because Scarlett really hasn't shown him the final unit composition. Or rather, she has shown him Ling Bailing. And then must be thinking like, wait, there must be more. But right now there actually isn't. Right now, just clearing creep, splitting off 2 medevacs to go for that drop once again. Or just, I guess, staying here at the edge of creep. This main base is reasonably well protected with these 2 Sprawl Corals here, so hard to get drops into there. And yeah, now Byun has given Scarlett the time to get up to these Ultras. This is the first one on the way. She's now maxed, so not going to have access to more just now before this next fight happens. Byun now moving out onto the map. Scarlett's upgrades are also going to finish up before a major fight here, so that is very nice for her. She's survived the toughest part of this game. Oh, big Widowmine hits though, taking care of a lot of this Ling Bailing force here. But I guess she wanted to lose some supply anyways to make room for more Ultras. Liberator getting a couple of drones. Queen is in position, but yeah, 6 drones going down. This drop over here gets caught. Well, a couple of Marines die and then he lifts up, but nice little win here for Scarlett. And the upgrades are about to finish here, so now Scarlett can really confidently take these fights. All these Vipers, both of the Vipers going down just to Marine Fire. Big blunder. These Vipers are super valuable when it comes to the bigger engagement here. Disabling these tanks. And that was an expensive loss. Doesn't look like Byun wants to necessarily capitalize on it right away. He has all of his tanks still at home, but still that we see Scarlett 72 drones, not the most amazing economy. She is really going to miss those Vipers in the next fight, I feel like. But she's investing into double spires here. This is I'm not sure if I like this, because she doesn't have a great economy. Now she's going for this fight here. Ultralist crashing into the third base, I believe it is. And oh, Byun is just kiting this out beautifully. One side of the engagement, these two Ultralists are just breaking through, but on the other side, the army of Byun just stays strong. 15 SCVs going down, but Terrans have the Mule Hammer available. And at the same time, Scarlett must have lost a couple of drones, because she's now below 70, and yeah, a Terran can take a lower worker count way better than the Zerg can. And I do feel like Scarlett is investing in stuff that she doesn't really have the economy to back it up right now. She's, yeah, we can see her, she has a better economy, we see that with the little arrows here, than Byun for the time being, but it's not going to be enough to support a double spire, and now she has to defend here. She has to survive for the time being. If she loses bases now on top of the small worker count, it's not going to be great for her. And these engagements are almost always going to favor Byun, yet unless he does it micro and just gets overrun by the swarm. Good engagement, but more damage on the other side of the map. These little marine drops are working wonders here for Byun. More drones going down. Scarlett just cannot get above 70 drones here. And this is becoming really scrappy for the Zerg player. She's kept the bases alive, which is nice, but yeah, now she's trying to make this this brutal transition happening. One of the spires is transforming into a greater spire, whereas the other is upgrading the +1. But she's going to lose this base here. Byun is just going to right-click it and gets away out of there. Nicely done. More creep being cleared here. Byun isn't rebuilding SCVs either, but he has his bases and he has his mules, so we already see this now in the mineral income. He is slightly ahead in this one, and now Scarlett is at threat of losing this next base here. Is just going to get right-clicked down once again. Not going for it just yet, but these Zerglings in the background here, just into the meat grinder. Byun is kiting this out beautifully. His army is quite overstimmed, but all of these ultras going down is super expensive for Scarlett, and then she realizes it and taps out of the game. Byun equalizes the series 1-1. Everything standard for the time being. Scarlett sending her overlords and just well, no detour at all actually, so not scouting for any proxy rexes. She's content just having this one overlord in front of her natural to make sure that nothing sneaks past her there. Byun is going to SCV scout. He's going to see that there is a natural building, and then he's going to go back with that SCV immediately, because that is going to be all the information that he needs. Yep, there we go. Maybe he wants to fake it out or leave it there for a little bit. But at home, he is going for a marine opener, so no Reaper that could potentially be harmful to Scarlett here on the other side of the map. I guess he just wants to keep this SCV around for a little bit to make Scarlett a little cautious, to make her fearful, but not the biggest of deal. It's just going to retreat back home now with the stolen minerals from the Zerg natural. Overlord went in, saw the command center building, so Scarlett also knows that this is quite normal, quite standard. Gets the third base down at a reasonable time. Yeah, and that means we're headed for way less weirdness than in the last 2 games. And I'm hoping for another later stage game here between these two, because that last one was pretty fun. For the time being, we're gonna have to wait and see what Byun throws out here. If the game is normal like this, usually it's the Zerg player that is just very passive and standard and reactive, and it's on the Terran player to bring out some creativity. And it looks like we're gonna see a medevac here, and this factory is producing Hellions without a reactor on it, so not the most standard setup here, but it's going to transition well into this little push here with a medevac, couple of Marines, couple of Hellions. And if Scarlett over drones, doesn't produce any units, or has not enough queens, that could definitely do some damage. Now he's even swapping the factory onto the reactor. So, oh, yeah, missed that. Byun might want to fix it. Yep, now you realize it's it. So, probably wants to go into more Hellions from this here. So, really interesting opening. The non-reactored Hellion production into the reactored Hellion production. And he's going to add an armory to this. So, he's going to have access to those hellbeds. These Marines here in the medevac finding an overload. Nicely done. Supply blocking Scarlett for just a little second here. And yeah, Byun is going to add Cloak Banshees to this army composition. So pretty committed early mid-game timing here out of Byun. And Scarlett, she really has no idea that this is happening. The only thing that she's seen is this command center, these 2 supply depots, and the Marines in the medevac. That's all the information that she's playing with. And I guess she's just taken on that situation. I wouldn't be surprised to see her add on some wall crawlers anytime soon to just be safe, because yeah, without this kind of scouting, you need these safety precautions. And yeah, there we see spore crawlers, but yeah, this is very new to Scarlett now. She doesn't know that this is happening. She has Banelings though, which is nicely prepared, and these things are going to connect with a bunch of these hellbeds, take them out, and now the Banshee's immediately revealed, and it's taken a lot of damage right away. So without seeing what's coming whatsoever, Scarlett is making the best defense possible. And yeah, as soon as this is deflected, she's firing up 11 more drones, going up into the drone count. And Byun cannot be happy with how that one turned out. Yeah, he's immediately abandoned his plan here, going back into the 3rd command center, keeping the Banshees at home, just getting them repaired up. Wouldn't be surprised to see those go out onto the map, trying to make something happen again. Yeah, there they go. Maybe some drone kills, maybe a bit of creep clearing, but this initial attack was very well defended by Scarlett. 4th base is coming up. There's already creep down here, so it's gonna make it a bit easier for Scarlett to defend this over here. There's still some Marines, some Hellbats, but she has the unit count and she has the queen count to just deal with this. Just the queens are enough for this. I don't know why she's so heavy on the unit production here. These Banshees are now heading in, finding a couple more drones, but spot crawls are in position, so this is it's annoying for Scarlett, sure, but that is not going to swing the game back into the favor of Byun here. Scarlett for a long time here did not produce any additional drones here, so she could have been like in the 80+ range here, despite losing some of them. She has a way bigger army right now, if you're looking at the army count here, than she needs at this point, because yeah, only now the push of Byun is heading across the map, and as the Zerg player, you see this, and you have enough time to prepare for this. This Baneling speed being late might cost Scarlett a little bit here, because she definitely is going to want those Banelings in the defense here. And if they're not speedy, they're going to have a hard time to catch up with the Zerg. with the Terran army. Now going for it. One of the high energy queens going down. Scarlett is looking for a bit of a surround. He's taken out one of the tanks in the background. Nicely done. But this fourth base now under fire. The second tank here, it lives. And Byun is finding a pretty good fight here. Scarlett really doesn't want to engage without this baning speed, but it's so far away, only halfway done. And maybe I spoke too soon about her building too many army units too early in the game, because now this is looking still quite scary. She's up at 80 drones, but she still needs to clean up this army here, and it's going to be a very effective fight. These banelings are just now entering the fight, and Byun off creep, he can just kite back. He's finding good trades here. These banshees just a bit blindly flying into the queens here. Could have found more value, certainly, but Byun, he's taken care of a lot of the creep here on this eastern side of the map, and with these tanks setting up, it's going to be beautiful position in Scarlett. Baneling speed is now finished, but she needs to find a good fight to clean this up. She's going for it. Baneling's not connecting with the Marines, but she's clearing out these tanks. But has she overcommitted here? These queens are low on energy. The Marines are just chasing after them. No more Banelings are on the field except for these 5 that are up here. Tons of Zerglings in production, but Scarlett has to abandon this 4th base. It's gone down. And with it, she's going to lose quite a few drones, possibly. Nope, the drones are getting out. So, not the worst case scenario, but Byun has accomplished his mission here of taking out this 4th base. There's another backup 4th base now, but you would rather have that as your 5th. Byun is just being relentless with the aggression here. Scarlett's still not morphing more banelings. She has 17, but these need to connect, and it's going to be very hard to find connection because this creep here is going to recede in just a second. Instead, she's just going for the counterattack. This 3rd base, it's unprotected. She's going to find major damage here, but this force is so scary. Liberators now joining as well. 10 SCVs going down on the other side of the map. So this run by is successful, but does she have enough to clean up this big force here of Byun in her own 3rd base? This is one that she can't just abandon and retreat from. And these Liberators are making it so hard to engage. Tanks are also in the background. With this round coming in, Byun is kiting back. Many Marines are still alive. And the siege position, it's still kind of existent. 18 mutas on the way. Very ballsy to fire up these mutas when she's still dealing with this aggression here. But the mutas are going to be so very helpful to deal with this. But another small little drop in all of this chaos into the 4th base, killing drones and even threatening a kill on this 4th hatchery. That would be disaster for Scarlett if this goes down. She's sending her queens over, and there are a couple of transfuses, so probably is going to survive. And with this muta, she's going to be able to clean up this tank and Liberator force. And now Byun is going to be the one on the defensive. Losing these medevacs here is going to hurt a lot. But no! All the Marines stemming underneath of the mutas. A lot of them going down. That was super costly. She's already lost 11 of the mutas. And that's extremely expensive. And now Byun once again into that 3rd base, finding more drones. Scarlett once again forced to engage with her mutas. It's not a fight that you want to take against these Stimp Marines. She's losing more and more. She's going to push this back. But she has lost 13 drones, and her muta count is only at 13. She's building more and more mutas. She's not investing into banelings just now, only just now. 8 more on the way. But Byun with the multitasking here, even I can't keep up, and I'm just observing this game. Takes out this hatchery here. Scarlett is down to 62 workers, so not the worker count that you want to be at. Going to retake this base that was previously her 4th base, now taking it as a 5th base. You can see how scrappy this game is just by how patchy this creep spread looks. There's just a little bit left over here from her earlier 4th base attempt, but now she's just getting to re-spread that. Obviously Scarlett, very known for her creep spread abilities. And obviously on the top side here, where Byun Has only dropped and not really parade push. It's a bit more healthy. Byun is going up to 2-2 upgrades. Once again, finishing his armor upgrade before his attack upgrade. Another drop being sent out. Now for the first time, these mutas can head across the map, try to make something happen. They get 2 supply depots for their effort. If these medevacs were caught by these mutas, this will be disaster for Byun. But for now, they're undetected. Gonna just scan ahead, see that there is no base and no real further retreat threat, so Byun doesn't necessarily want to reveal this, or rather join this little drop here up with his main force. Knight's position on the watchtower is going to make it very hard for Scarlett to engage into this. But with the mutas, she might be able to find a good fight here. Looks like she's going for it now, or maybe not. Thought she was going for it because she still wanted to fight on creep before that one receded, but all these mutas are going to find an empty mineral line. There's only one turret. The reinforcement marines are going to deal with this, and now Byun stepping further forward into this hatchery that's still bruised. A couple of queens, and Scarlett's just going to completely abandon it right away. Doesn't want to fight in range of the watchtower and these siege tanks over here. And Scarlett's now once again down to 4 bases. I was gonna mention Byun, he's only on 3 bases, well, but if Scarlett's only on 4, that's not too bad. Oh, hot pick up here on the Thor, and the Thor is going to get some nice shots on these mutalisks. But now the mutalisks are magic boxing and getting on top of it. The 3rd base of Byun is being ransacked, losing SCVs and losing army. Scarlett is somehow making this work. This game, so scrappy, so much action, 24/7. For a second now, we have time to breathe. Byun is going to go up to 3-3. And Scarlett is just sticking to these mutas. Her muta count is up to 19. She has 7 more on the way. Another big run by force, but the main part of Byun's army is here. Scarlett still bit indecisive here. Is going to lose a lot of her links. She's going up to the infestation pit, so slowly she can look to transition out of this. It's now going to be her goal to deny this 4th base as long as she can. There's 2 big armies now instead, and she's going for it here. I don't think those are enough Banelings to threaten this army whatsoever, and she's taking out the Thor, but that's about it. This army didn't go for the run by either. That would have worked quite well. There was only 1 tank here. But now Byun has the core part of his army surviving. His 3-3 upgrades are about to finish, which is going to make this a whole lot scarier for the Zerg player. More Banelings morphing in. Just trying to find one good cleanup. There really isn't any support except for like 2 Widow Mines. Outside of that, it's purely Marine medevac. Oh, the 4th base. The mutas get on top of it. Are the Marines going to be in time? Yes, they are. That was quite clutch, though. Meanwhile, this base once again going down for Scarlett for the 2nd time in this game. And Byun, he seems to always have just enough Marines to deal with these mutas flying by. Very impressive defensive play here out of the Terran player. And now once again into the 3rd base, gets the turret. Widowmine shot gets the muta and bruises up a couple more, but then once again reinforcing Marines and joining up. Scarlett, she's really staying on this unit composition. More mutas building. She hasn't gone up to the hive, even though she built the infestation pit. And if Byun can just defend on these 4 bases, the army composition from Scarlett is not going to scale super well against the maxed out Terran army. This force now, it's looking scary. There's still not a lot of support here to this Marine force. It's pure Marines and 4 Widow Mines. That's actually hilarious. Where the Scarlett wanna pounce. She's maxed now. Not waiting for any upgrades to finish up. So this is where she goes for it. Into the third base once again. Mutas on top of Marines. Banelings crashing into the middle line. Taking out 10 SCVs, but not finding connections on the bio forces here. Byun is down to 25 SCVs. But that also means his army, 30 army supply ahead. So Scarlett needs to find some good bailing connections here to take care of the Marines. And I guess if you keep the army as a Terran on purely Marines, then you don't need that many SCVs, because Byun is still producing 9 Marines, 3 Widow Mines at a time on this economy. So finding another Thor, but losing Mutas during the process. A lot of her army being sent down here to deal with this one medevac, whereas on the north side of the map, Marines are finding unprotected bases. Gonna kill a couple of drones and take out 2 entire bases, but the 4th base of Byun is being ransacked. Action all over the place here, but now Byun is going to strike on this mining base here, and this base is heavily oversaturated, so a lot of drones could be going down alongside with this. And this is the last real mining that Scarlett has. This base is completely mined out. This base has been killed off once again. And with the 22 workers, Byun is really making it happen. There's barely any income for Scarlett now as well. So it's all going to come down to how cost effective these players can be with their armies. And Scarlett, she still has 29 Banelings, but she's this base also going down. Scarlett doesn't even have the money to rebuild bases. This is a crazy game. Byun is suddenly out-mining Scarlett with 22 SCVs on the map just by having this 4th base established. Now Scarlett needs to look for the fight, needs to look for the damage. Widow Mines not just yet going off. These Banelings are not crashing into the Marines, but so many more Marines up on the north side of this battle. Almost no more Banelings left. The last ones are finding good connections, but now it's Marines versus Mutas, and that is a fight the Marine is looking for any day of the week. Scarlett trying to find more damage, but no worker that she's killing here is going to have any impact, because as long as this base is mining, there are Banelings world here, so they're now going to run in and kill the remaining workers. We're down to 3. 3 workers, and Byun is still mining more than Scarlett, who is on 56 workers. She's really trying to do some magic. Might even find the last remaining SCVs here with the Mutas. But just by having access to mules, Byun is going to catch back up in that economy, because as long as this base here is not up, Scarlett is only long distance mining. What a crazy game this third one is over here. Scarlett recognizes that she needs something to deal with the Marines, so trying to desperately get into things. Oh, these 2 Widow Mines finding huge value on the Mutas. Scarlett really cannot afford to lose any Mutas here, because these Mutas are her insurance to keep Byun occupied at home. And it's on one SCVs, now rebuilding 3 at a time. This base The mules. They're the MVPs. Oh, now the mutas are stuck here for Scarlett. She's not going to be able to get these mutas out without losing a significant amount of them. That is terrible for her at this stage of the game. She's rebuilding hatcheries now, so with her work account, she's gonna get back to mining. But I think almost all of these mutas are going to go down for good. Another attempt. Oh no! Don't waste your banelings on this supply depot. Very expensive at this stage. Scarlett though, with this base established and another one building, she could finally make use of her way superior work account. But we see it now here. Byun heavily ahead in income, just with 11 workers and mules. These mutas are trapped here forever. Marines are very happy keeping them at bay. Another small drop here, finding more worker damage. And these Marines are going to trade out very, very well against these Zerglings here. But the Zerglings that were being sent here by Scarlett are not even enough to fully push this back. So every trade between Marines versus either Zerglings or mutas is going to be favorable for the Terran player. Scarlett now needs to protect this base up here in the north, as if her life, or rather her upper bracket tournament life, depends on it. She's investing more into mutas, which I find very intriguing. And some of these mutas made it out, and it looks like not too many went down. Not sure how that happened. Missed that. The significant story of this game right now is the armor supply. And we see Byun 90 versus 50. So Scarlett, with these banelings morphing, she needs to find huge connections. He is on a creep now, Byun, that is. So there is the possibility of big connections. But without them, Scarlett is just going to lose this game. She's now pulling drones into this Marine force here, fighting with the drones and the mutas, and the banelings are somewhat connecting, but not efficiently whatsoever. And now Scarlett is down to 19 workers as well. She was mining again, and she had a better economy for just a second here until the Marines go across the map and just pounce on it. The hatchery stays alive, but what good is that gonna do? The follow-up push here for Byun is just looking super scary. And Byun, if he gets this base onto this location and starts mining on it, going to look very, very good in this game. He's now taken the overall supply lead as well with all the drones that he's taken out. And this insanity of a game is going to come to an end eventually here. Scarlett is just bleeding out a little bit too much at this point. She's never going to find a good engagement with what she has available on this army. And she fought like hell. And now she's going to make her last stand. Banelings rolling forward. Byun has a nice pre-split. No more banelings available now. And Scarlett GG's out. Byun takes the series 2-1 and advances in the upper bracket of the TSL number 8. What a series.